My dearest brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. I greet you in peace and love. Many of you have asked that we galactics take over Earth's mainstream media and that we broadcast our perspective. There are several issues with that. One of the issues is that everyone imagines that we'll take over Earth's mainstream media and that we'll publicly broadcast their perspective, and then everyone else will say you were right all along. First of all, many people will not change their opinions, even if presented with evidence. Have you noticed yourself that presenting evidence to people seems to do little? Most people on Earth right now have opinions and a worldview that is very much tied into their emotions and their self-image. Furthermore, many people on Earth are in a psychological survival mode, which means that they will more or less automatically reject anything that causes them to feel stress or fear, and certainly that includes information that contradicts their worldview. But also, both left-wing spiritual people and right-wing spiritual people are expecting that if we take over the mainstream media, we'll proclaim that their worldview is correct. Some left-wing spiritual people are expecting us to say that Trump and Putin are monsters and that we need open borders and a big government that does much to make sure the poor are taken care of. Meanwhile, some right-wing spiritual people are expecting us to say that Trump and Putin are amazing men and that we need to stop illegal immigration and that we need a small government that doesn't tax or infringe on people's freedoms very much. Purely from a logical perspective, we can't say that Trump is both an amazing and an evil man, Putin is both an amazing and an evil man, borders should be more open and also more closed, and governments should be larger and also smaller. If you are wondering what our political views are, generally they are what we are going to call integrated politics in this message. Integrated politics are an integrated mix of what you on Earth would think of as left-wing and right-wing perspectives. Integrated politics involves taking the concerns of everyone on board, including the concerns of the other side. We think Putin and Trump are neither white hats nor black hats, but gray hats, as we explain in the message. Hakann, your leaders treat citizens as citizens treat animals. This message has either been posted recently or it will be posted in a few days. We are fine with letting people immigrate into our society so long as this doesn't damage the structural integrity of our society, and so long as specific destructive and dangerous immigrants are kept out. Our economic system is both communist and libertarian. It's communist in the sense that people can just ask for things within reason and they will receive it, and also people aren't allowed to own means of production. Our society is libertarian in the sense that our economic system is non-coercive, there are no taxes and practically no laws. Our society works because people enjoy living in our society so much that they are happy to volunteer their time towards the maintenance and betterment of this society. Also, we choose to spend much of our time in subgroups where everyone knows each other, which creates a sense of community and support, and also most people aren't inclined to be unreasonable in small groups where everyone knows each other. Admittedly, it also helps that we have enough technology that a lot of chores are automated, but then again there is a lot of technology on Earth that is being suppressed by the dark controllers that would make your lives much easier if it was released. Of course, you're free to have a different perspective from us, but from our perspective, if you are 100% on the political left or the political right, and believe all the commonly held talking points of your political side, and if you think that the opposite side is completely wrong, then you might want to study the arguments of the other side a bit more closely. From our perspective, neither the political left nor the political right is correct on all counts. Furthermore, both political sides have concerns that aren't going to go away no matter how hard the other political side pushes. Eventually the concerns of the other side will have to be taken on board, because the more that your political side ignores complaints of the other side, the more that neutral people are driven to the other political side. As another example, not everyone on the left, but the mainstream political left has a tendency to say that everyone who opposes immigration is a racist, and there are zero real problems with immigration. This is a roadmap for an eternal left versus right conflict, because some people do have valid and understandable concerns about letting in anyone, without any kind of check about whether, for example, dangerous criminals are coming in. The fact is that in some countries, colored immigrants do commit more crimes and more rapes than average. And people are not evil for wanting to protect their loved ones by keeping out dangerous people. This isn't a concern that can be solved by calling people racists or by insisting that there are no problems with immigration. Doing so, i.e. ignoring the concerns of the right, just leads to people siding with the right. And that's one, though certainly not the only, reason why Trump was elected in 2016 against the left's expectations. Conversely, Left-wing people also have a very understandable position on immigration that should also be taken on board, and neither Tunia nor I are saying that the ideal solution is to completely close all borders and let zero people in. Similarly, the left has very understandable concerns that aren't going to go away about unrestricted capitalism producing undesirable outcomes and not necessarily producing the optimal quality of life for the average citizen. At this specific moment in time, with the current level of technology and current level of human consciousness, just simply deregulating everything and shrinking the government to a speck isn't optimal, and that right-wing idea doesn't sufficiently take left-wing concerns on board. If the right goes completely deregulate everything, zero social safety nets and doesn't address the concerns of the left at all, then eventually non-rich people will see their living standards erode and most people will side with the left. The way to unite people is to let everyone's concerns be discussed, without censorship or shaming, and ultimately taking these concerns on board. Often people think in moralistic terms, my political side is good, the other political side is evil. This is not very productive, because the natural inclination is to say that goodness is good, evil is evil, and hence your side is completely right and the other side should be fought. But so long as the other side has unfulfilled concerns, the other side will never be completely defeated, and in fact the harder you fight against people who have concerns, the more unreasonable you look and the more that neutral people will flock to the other side. So instead of thinking about it in moralistic terms of my political side is good, the other political side is evil, it's more productive to think in terms of concerns. My political side has concerns, and the other side has concerns. Can we find a way in which both of our concerns are at least somewhat satisfied? If you want to completely and permanently defeat the other political side, then take all their reasonable concerns on board and satisfy them. That way, the other political side will have almost no more way to attract new people to their movement. Sure, there may still be, for example, a few actual racists who genuinely want to deport all colored people, but this isn't a reasonable position and so there won't be a significant number of people who support that movement. And don't be so quick to say but Hakann, there are huge political movements that seek to deport all colored people. Is that actually the position of the leaders of those movements, or are you creating a straw man out of their position? For example, Trump hasn't made a move to deport all colored people. Needless to say, it's also more productive to actually listen to people than it is to create strawmans out of them that are so horrible that these people look like monsters who must be fought. It's more productive to view the other side as people with concerns than it is to view them as monsters who secretly plot to do terrible things. Well, sure, if you want eternal division and conflict, do see the other side as evil monsters. If you want unity and progress, then it is better to see the other side as people who have concerns. And make no mistake, progress isn't squashing the right wing. Progress is taking the reasonable concerns of the right wing on board and trying to find a way to satisfy them, without trampling over the concerns of the left. And yes, the right wing does have valid concerns. This is integrated politics, where you take the concerns of the other side on board and satisfy them to the extent that it's reasonable. If the other side points rallies around a certain concern, then see if you can address that concern, instead of trying to mock or censor the other side. Integrated politics is very effective in terms of electoral results. If the left satisfies the reasonable concerns of the right, then the right is only left with unreasonable concerns, and hence not too many people will vote right-wing. You actually defang and depower the other political side by addressing their reasonable concerns. Plus, that is how you actually reunite humanity. Thank you for listening. I love you very much. Your star brother, Hakann.